like to welcome you all to mga Kapatid's 36th Annual Philippine Culture Night. Before we start off today's show, the four of us just want to share a little bit about ourselves and this community. My name is Catherine Uy, and I'm one of this year's PCN coordinators. Ever since I was 5 years old, I've had the opportunity to visit the Philippines at least once a year. It was through these visits I was able to engage directly with my Filipino-Chinese background and familiarize myself with the Tagalog language. However, when I began my studies at UC Davis, I felt more distant from my culture due to my academic commitments and the transition into college life. However, that disconnect was soon mended when I joined the Phil-Am community at UC Davis. In particular, joining PCN allowed me to explore my roots through performance and through the magic of community and teamwork. But these past few months would not have been possible without the people who have walked by our side since the beginning of our PCN journey. I would like to give a special thank you to Likat Filipino Folk Ensemble, who gifted us with their time and resources to ensure our showcase is as culturally accurate as possible. I would also like to thank our dedicated participants and PCN creative team, aspect directors, and backstage crew. And thank you to Eliza and Kema, my amazing co-PCN chords, who inspire me to never give up. Finally, I would like to thank my wonderful parents. You both continue to be my constant source of inspiration, and I'm forever grateful for all the life lessons and the sacrifices you have made for me. And to everyone who is in the audience today, maraming salamat po for being here. I hope you truly enjoyed today's performances. Thank you.
Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kama Snyder, and I'm one of your Philippine Culture Night coordinators. So just to give a little background on who I am, so I come from a military family, and with that comes a lot of moving around. So as a kid, it was pretty hectic, always being in and out of communities. Sometimes even every few months, I was moving around. But looking back, I realized that the one thing that was always constant in my life was being able to find a sense of community and a sense of home in the Philippines. Whether that was school clubs, community dance groups, or just giant Christmas parties, being Filipino has always been a huge anchor in my life. So it didn't come as much of a shock to me when I found that same sense of home in mga Kapatid, especially in the performing arts space. Planning the showcase has given me such an amazing opportunity to connect with my roots, and it has also given me an immense pride and joy in this community. That is why I'm honored to be standing here today as one of this year's Philippine Culture Night coordinators. So before we get started with the showcase, I'd like to thank a few people who, without their help, this event would not be possible. Big shout out to Lipa Filipino Folk Ensemble for providing us with beautiful attire and also staying up late hours with us, even till 11 p.m. this week, to help us get our moves down. Thank you to my friends who are in the audience today. Without you guys, I wouldn't have been able to overcome the challenges that this year has presented. Especially big thank you to my family that's here tonight. Thank you so much for your support and even waking up at 3 a.m. to make it here today. And then last but not least, thank you to my wonderful co-hosts, Eliza and Kat. I couldn't have done it without you guys. So maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Hi everyone, my name is Eliza Mayahua, and I am also one of this year's PCN coordinators. Also coming from a military background, I was born in Japan, and we migrated over to the US when I was still an infant, so I don't remember Japan at all really. And growing up in San Diego was actually a privilege for me, as I saw diversity in my schools and in my friend groups and all around me. However, I still felt that disconnect with my culture because even though I lived in a Filipino concentrated area, I've never actually learned how to speak or even understand Tagalog, and I just never learned about our roots in any way. Coming to Davis in 2019, I made it my goal to find that community that will not only welcome me into the UC Davis space, but also help me find the beauty in our culture. I found my way into the Filipino-American community and fell in love with the space. Especially with my performing arts background, PCN has become a big passion for me, and even through the pandemic, I found myself committed to the space. And surprisingly enough, this is actually my first PCN on stage in person, and I couldn't have thought of it to be a better place. I just want to thank a few groups that has helped us along the way through our journey. Thank you to the City of Davis who helped sponsor our show partially, and without them we wouldn't be able to afford some things that we have to help the space grow. And thank you for the Veterans Memorial Center Theater for providing the space that we're actually all in right now, and not only right now, but also throughout the whole week. We've been here until 11 p.m. sometimes. Thank you so much to the Lika Filipino Folk Ensemble for taking the time to come up all the way from San Jose just to help us with our music, dances, and attire. Thank you to my PCN Core predecessors who always offer any help and provide resources and advice to ensure that we can learn from their mistakes and also incorporate their strengths from their experiences. Thank you to my lovely, lovely, lovely foes, Kath and Kemna, for this has been such a wild ride, but with them we were able to make sure we made it here today. And also thank you to the PCN cast and crew for always showing up and showing out. It's always amazing getting to work with everyone. I'm so proud of everyone who's been involved in PCN and who is involved tonight. Thank you to my family who never failed to come out and show their love and support, even if we are more than 400 miles away from each other most of the year. And thank you to you all in the audience who not only support me, but also everyone backstage and on the stage. Without you, we wouldn't be here right now. These past 6 months have been such a journey, planning, stressing, and seeing everything come together. And now we're finally here at this moment, and I'm so excited for you all to experience it. Maraming salamat, and enjoy the show.
Good afternoon, my name is Ethan Mansayak, and I have had the honor and privilege of serving as Kapatid's president for this past year. I would first like to thank Haley Cantiller for bringing this year's theme to the table. When the theme was ultimately chosen for PCN 36, Kagandahan sa ating lakas, or the beauty in our strength, we wanted to highlight our resilience. As students, community members, bigs, littles, friends, and as the name of our organization suggests, as brothers, sisters, and siblings. I've been able to witness firsthand the power that lies within our community to organize and uplift ourselves and the people around us. There are performers today that are in 3, 4, even 5 different aspects, all while juggling schoolwork, extracurricular activities, and of course simply enjoying college. And this perseverance goes beyond the walls of this theater as well. We are surrounded by a community of multifaceted individuals that shape the Davis Philip. And yet we are only a snapshot of an international diaspora that has been built on the resistance of numerous forms of violence and oppression. From those in the homeland fighting against the jeepney phase-out, to the students who are organizing cross-culturally for the liberation of the Palestinian people, our beauty comes in the way that we make our voices heard and take a stand in an institution that was never made for us. One of our greatest strengths comes in our ability to learn. We learn from our own mistakes, from each other, and from those who came before us. 2 years ago, we were still coming back from pandemic isolation, worrying at each show if we would be able to keep our cast and audience safe. Last year, we lost an integral part of our PCN. Great community leaders in their respective spaces, outstanding students, and above all, friends. Each time we have learned what it takes to keep going, to persevere in the face of adversity, and how to keep smiling while doing so. This is my 3rd PCN, and I've seen people who have never done Philippine dance in their life grow to be stagers and directors. Friends who feared the spotlight illuminate the stage each time they're on it, and our community's capacity for love. The road to this PCN was not easy. We stand on the backs of giants. Our very presence here today is evidence of the success and sacrifices of our ancestors, and like the carabao or water buffalo on our logo, we are plowing forward and sowing the seeds of the PCNs that come after us. We have a great show lined up for y'all today, so sit back, relax, and put your hands together for PCN 36.
Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. Good afternoon to you all. I am Ethan Julian Zamora, one half of the Community Cultural Chairs for Mga Kapatid this year.
Hello, my name is Waverly Borge, and I'm the other half of Mga Kapatid's Community Cultural Chairs. And we would just like to acknowledge the land that we are standing on today.
We should take a moment to acknowledge the land on which we are gathered for this event. It has always been the home of the Patwin people, including the Yochadihi Winton Nation, the Kachodihi Band of Winton, and the Quetzaldihi Band of Winton today. The Patwin people remain committed to the stewardship of this land. It continues to be cherished and protected as elders have instructed the young through generations. We are honored and grateful to be gathered here today on the traditional lands.
We collectively understand that offering land acknowledgements or land recognitions do not absolve settler colonial privilege, reparations, or diminish colonial structures of violence at either the individual or institutional level. We recognize that land acknowledgements must be preceded and followed with ongoing and unwavering commitments to American indigenous communities. The University of California, Davis, and residents of this land have benefited from the forced and systematic removal of Patwin people and other indigenous peoples of California. With deep respect, we formally acknowledge the painful history of genocide and attempted cultural erasure of indigenous communities. Colonial settlers who invaded and still occupy this land disrupted indigenous societies and deployed all forms of violence to eliminate the first people to call this place home. Enslavement of indigenous peoples, indentured servitude, land dispossession, spreading of disease, scalping of Native women, children, and men, coerced assimilation, and military conflict, University of California, Davis is thus well situated for the study of this critically important history, including the sustained resistance of Native peoples to the many ways settler society has attempted to undermine and destroy their issues and land.
Again, the Patwin people remain committed to the stewardship of this land. It continues to be cherished and protected as elders have instructed the young through generations. We are honored and grateful to be gathered here today on the traditional lands. And if you or a loved one were curious as to what indigenous land you are standing on, please visit native-land.ca.
Thank you, and now handing off to Aaron for a statement on Palestine.
Hello, my name is Aaron, and my name is Torn. And on the topic of indigenous rights, we as an organization acknowledge and are in full support of the Palestinian people and their ongoing fight for liberation. We stand in solidarity with their right to a free and independent Palestine and the right of students all over America to protest. As a community, we recognize the intertwined and closely related history between the Philippines and Palestine with Israeli and American forces. From the Nakba in Palestine to America's war in the Philippines, our histories and struggles were tied, and the people remain tied to this day. So while we all sit here today in a space where we can openly and freely express our identity, let us remember every university in Gaza has been destroyed, and the genocide takes places like this away every day. And please let us remember to do what we can to support the Palestinian people in the face of genocide by boycotting and by spreading awareness. People often chant, from Palestine to the Philippines, stop the US war machine. So as we celebrate our identity, for the next few hours, please, let us also continue to support Palestine for as long as it takes until it is free. Everyone, please rise for the anthems.